Okay, I think I'm set up now. And so I've given you, I'm going to have a nice backdrop there of the skyline. And hopefully the sounds of the waves will provide a little musical accompaniment. All right, so let's get right into it. So I'm going to be starting with some selections from The Revolution, and this is by a collective known as KOA, Kingdom of All. Okay, I'm going to start with a piece by Shawn, Creech, and this is quite appropriate because this piece is entitled Quarantine. As stories told by men to men through time, the fate of rich and poor are kept entwined. Same far above this tale of woe of mine. 2 states, 1 home, and a world in a bind. A great depression lent itself to plague, and each on their own accord self to save. Coin nor credit could keep the cost at bay, so wealth and squalor together engrave. Behind their walls leaders fled contagion, abandoned lesser men to feral gloom. Isolation for a generation, outsiders left to rot so they could bloom. Now shut in with riches, life they savor, ivory towers and banquet rooms. Thriving, evolution was in their favor, prey to outlive what apocalypse looms. But as the world turns, sin start to clamor. Cages turn the best of man into beasts, and it's no matter the glitz and glamour. Vulgar souls, unartful to say the least. The young grew old and they emerged again. Their scholars figured the world they'd rebuild, as the weak and meek had no chance to win. Hungry eyes finally put down their shield. But the old world never slipped away. Huddled masses survived the sickly fast, so fresh settlements sprung up night and day. Even while power is gone, people last. The rich, now less important to the rest, had to mingle in the commoner's tests. Creation and fetch clean, all society needed was quarantine. Wow. I actually selected these poems randomly, and to have selected this poem by Shawn Creech, Quarantine, I mean, it's so on the money. Wow. Thank you for that, Shawn. Round of applause, everybody. Please give it up for Shawn, Quarantine. The next piece I'm going to read is by Carissa Pignatelli, and this is entitled Nerd Porn Startlet. Are those vacuum-headed fuck bunnies not working for you? Well, how about me? I'm that girl in the back of the library. Horny, horn-rimmed glasses, all dressed in tweed. Why don't you come over to me? I'll read you literature and poetry. From Poe to Plath to Shakespeare sonnets. Oh yeah, I'm gonna make you want it. Then I'll really make you scream, "Ooh!" when I crush your high score on any system, Nintendo. Xbox if you're nasty. We'll do it slow and gentle, then hard and fast, until you reluctantly go back to gym class. And you can tell those jocks that you got some ass with the girl who fucked up the grading curve and how you fucked with these curves. And once you've calculated the velocity of my motion, you can tell those jocks to invest in lube and lotion, because there's about to be a major shortage tonight. Oh, and I know what you want to do to me. I know how badly you want to copy my homework in English, math, and biology. But if you want that, you better make mad, passionate love to me. Okay, wow. That was Nerd Porn Startlet by Carissa Pignatelli. Give it up. Give it up for the poet. Shout out to my triumvirate. Ellen E. Dots, and Lisa Throwback Conway. I hope they're doing well as well as all of you. Okay, this next piece is by the honorary mayor of Staten Island, and this is entitled Compost Coolidge, I'm sorry. And this is by, like I said, the honorary mayor of Staten Island, Phoebe Blue. Fish out of the cesspool, you know it's for the best. Fish out of that incest pool, I know it can be tough. Whether you're quirky alone or quirky together, we could be friends forever until things get weird and we lose touch. But let's try not to think so much. At this point, I don't know anyone that's not bi or bipolar. They're tri and tripolar. And you know I don't judge, because I never got my wisdom teeth, just molar. I try to channel the panel of your solar, that is your light. And I'm sorry you had such a hard fight. It's not right. Excuse me. And I'm sorry you had such a hard fight. It's not right. But that's what artists are made of. Don't try to censor me. It's not that serious. I'm pretty sensitive, but you're delirious. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I try my best to walk you back off the plank, but I can't steer a ship that's already been sank. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Heard it through the grapevine. Come a long way since jug wine. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. I'm the guiltiest victim. I'm a slacktivist, kinda activist. Never was up on modern technology. I'm a millennial anomaly. Yeah. That was Compost Coolidge by Phoebe Blue. And again, these selections that I've read so far, these are all from a book, The Revolution by K.O.A., Kingdom of All. And next selection, and this is a piece I personally can relate to. Hold on, let me take a little sip of water because I'm choking. And that doesn't sound good. If you're still with me, I know if I cough a couple of more times, you're going to probably get off, because that's the climate we're in right now. Anybody start coughing, people run away. This is What My Scale Reads by Mark Skrzypczak. What my scale reads: at 175 pounds, my acne affects my appearance more than my waist size. At 190 pounds, coach tells me my size isn't taught in practice. At 214 pounds, people say you look just like your father. At 225 pounds, I shouldn't have given up on basketball. At 240 pounds, the second chin introduces itself to me in the mirror. At 265 pounds, pictures at 15 pounds, I stop saying cheese. At 253 pounds, my girlfriend sees me differently than the scale does. At 266 pounds, my doctor tells me I am obese, a word I've tried distancing myself from that catches up with me. At 256 pounds, I scour the internet for ephedra with the hopes to relive my early 20s. At 277 pounds, the scale takes the longest detour to determine how far I let myself go. At 229, at 228, at 227 pounds, I receive an average of 1 Facebook like for each pound I lost. At 236 pounds, a 36-inch inseam is closer to a 38 inches. Even men's Levi's come in these sizes. At 187 pounds, I force myself to eat to 3 dozen wings because I've gotten too skinny. At 266 pounds, I can't remember the last time I ate a dozen wings. At 208 pounds, I wore out 4 pairs of shoes in 3 months. At 273 pounds, I start losing my breath walking up the steps. At 210 pounds, strangers tend to smile at me. At 260 pounds, I am the only one forcing a smiling. At 242 pounds, I swore off white flour but ate more bacon. At 202 pounds, I cheat on my diet with pizza at 268 pounds. The nickname for the woman who sits next to me is Big Ness. Men's Health tells me that is my ideal weight. At 205 pounds, my old extra large t-shirts have me swimming in sweat-filled fabric on the treadmill. At 244 pounds, I clean out my closet, throwing out the old me that was 30 pounds lighter. At 270 pounds, my extra large shirts show off all of what I'm trying to hide. At 252 pounds, I start resembling my father's worst physical traits. At 264 pounds, I yo-yo my weight and insecurities. At 271 pounds, I am full. That was Mark Skrzypczak with What My Scale Reads. Give it up for the poet. All right, I'm going to read a piece from Tyler Larsen's What Is Left Behind. This is entitled An Open Letter to Your New Boyfriend. Just because you have a penis and I don't does not make you superior to me. My body, with all of its unwanted parts, worked good enough to be wanted by her. So stop walking around like you have something I don't. Just because you have hid her laughter in the curls of your hair does not mean she is yours. Exploiting her jealousy to make sure she never smiles at me again is not tall, dark, and handsome. It is ugly and small, and be careful because one day she will shed some light on that. You are just someone who stumbled upon a situation that matched yours, 30, single, more likely to be accepted by her transphobic family, an easy exit from a bad situation. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm sure she loves you now. Just remember, this can happen to you too. That was An Open Letter to Your New Boyfriend, and that was from Tyler Larsen's What Is Left Behind. Hey, the next poet up is Matthew Figueroa, but we all know and love him as Matt Figgz, and this is from his chapbook Adolescence, and I'm going to read a poem entitled Weekends, and I can relate to this, and I'm sure probably many of you can. So this is Weekends by Matt Figgz. My depression is a blanket in winter, too thin to keep me warm, but too heavy to move. I lay there silently accepting that warmth is impossible. And this is a note from the poet after the poem. When you've been suffering for a long period, your problems become a core part of your identity. Depression is addictive, and I couldn't imagine myself without it. I needed it. Change equals scary unknowns, and humans are always more comfortable with the devil they know. That was Weekends by Matt Figgz. Okay, this next book, which I really love, is Alchemy by Jenny Pisani. I'm not going to be able to do all of the poems that I wanted to do because I'm actually running low on batteries, so I'm just going to try to do some shorter poems by these great poets. And to me, I believe poet stands for put on earth to speak. And I like to combine that with my triumvirate co-host, Lisa Throwback Conway, who said, poets are my people. So I like to combine it. Poets are my people, and poet stands for put on earth to speak. And this piece is entitled Lightning Bugs by Jenny Pisani. I want to catch a moment like a lightning bug in a jar, a space contained for awe, for the miracle of preserving something worth keeping. So many of my moment jars are lidless, lightingless, filled with dark, with empty, with forgotten. I want to catch a moment, not even a particularly significant one, like the flight attendant carefully pouring hot water into a paper cup of instant coffee while the plane trembles with turbulence. I'm twisting a few lids now, preserving what little miracles I can catch in arm's reach, One jar of your morning breath, the next full of the first lung-filled scream of a freshly born baby. Another jar of the old man sweeping as the sun rises on a Tuesday, or the smile from a stranger passing on the street, and for a moment you smile too, longer than expected. I want to cradle them in my soft hands and whisper back, you are alive. I am alive, alive, alive. Alive. That was Lightning Bugs by Jenny Pisani. And she talked about the flight attendant. There's a plane flying by right now. So it's like the universe approves of the C.O.V.I.D.19 reading Parkcast. Creatively overcoming virus by interacting digitally. Almost forgot my own acronym. Embarrassing. Okay. Can you see that? Next up, we're going to be reading from this chapbook entitled Oxygen Tank, which is a collection of poetry by Frankie Kubena. And this piece is entitled A Love Poem for My Gender Queerness, in which love is all the defiance I use, protected. I've heard that when one lobster dies, it releases a toxin that sets off a chain reaction so that all of the lobsters around it die too. The fishermen who catch the lobsters have to be really careful not to kill any of them when they pull them out in fish nets by the hundreds, because if the death toxin gets to the lobsters, then they are no longer safe to eat and therefore sell. Just to say, I am not for your consumption. Dear leering men with fishnet hands and pronouns that threaten to pull me out of the water and boil me alive, I am not your girl. Dear catcalls and ratings out of 10, I am not interested in how ready you are to swallow me whole. This delicacy is far too expensive for you, and I am filled with fucking poison. If I am made of a woman's body, then you are hung mouths and an insatiable stomach. Dear patriarchy and every man you've turned into a predator, I hope you starve. Dear every man who's ever grabbed me, your hands feel like a thick rope around my neck, feel like all the nets I've ever been caught in, and you don't know the feeling of seeing yourself lifted out of the water, of watching yourself drowned in every silent no. One day I will break open and every time you ever hurt me will spill out. Dear queerness, let it be known that if I am only visible to myself, well then I still exist. Dear sophist, I hope you hold strong enough. Woman is just another name for a hurricane, and I'm not sure if we are the rain flooding every house in the city or if we are the city. This poem is for all the men who've wrapped their fingers around my throat. I am wondering if an almost death releases a type of toxin too. All I know is that if one day this kills me, I am taking everyone down with me. Wow. So that concludes the episode 1 of C.O.V.I.D.19, Creatively Overcoming Virus by Interacting Digitally for 19 Minutes.